At the end of January, I uploaded a video about the challenges associated with getting a new tracheostomy tube from my medical equipment company. First, the tracheostomy tube was on back order for 3 weeks. When the tracheostomy tube arrived at my medical equipment company's warehouse, the month of February had begun. No one checked, but my doctor's orders for my ventilator expired in January. Now that it was February, I could not be sent the new tracheostomy tube because the medical equipment company would not have the necessary documentation needed to bill my insurance company. I am not informed about this delay. I wait and wait for my tracheostomy tube, believing it still must be on back order. When my medical equipment company realizes I need new doctor's orders to bill my insurance company, they fax the physician orders to my old pulmonologist. It is a long story, but at my appointment a year ago, my doctor yelled at me, told me I was faking everything, including my need to use a ventilator, and said she never wanted to see me again. So, sending my paperwork to my former physician did not yield signed doctor's orders. After several days pass, I am contacted and told I need to provide the medical equipment company with the name of my current doctor. I reply within 30 minutes of receiving the email. I believe the paperwork will be sent, signed, and returned before the end of the day. And I also believe my tracheostomy tube will soon be on its way to my home. I wait and wait for my tracheostomy tube. I contact my respiratory therapist and ask if she has an update about my tracheostomy tube. She tells me she can see on my file my medical equipment company has not received the signed doctor's orders. I then decide I will do what I can to expedite the process. I call my doctor's office. I talk to about 5 different people inquiring about the paperwork. After much searching, I am told the office never received the fax. I give the doctor's office the phone number to my medical equipment company. I am promised someone will call my medical equipment company. I am in a huge panic. My tracheostomy cuff started failing 6 weeks prior. I desperately need a new tracheostomy tube. I go online and search to the ends of the earth trying to find a new tracheostomy tube. At last, I find a tracheostomy tube which is similar. It is not the correct size, but I decide it will have to do. I order the tracheostomy tube, and to my delight, it arrives in the mail 3 days later. I sigh with relief to have a new tracheostomy tube in my possession. I wait and wait to be notified that doctor's orders are signed. I soon grow impatient. I really need a new tracheostomy tube. Although I had purchased one online, I need to stay on top of getting a new tracheostomy tube from my medical equipment company. Since I'm only allowed one new tracheostomy tube every 3 months from my insurance company, I need to keep this process going. Any time I waste trying to get doctor's orders signed or waiting for the tracheostomy tube while it is on back order counts for nothing. The new 3-month time period with my insurance company only begins when I receive my new tracheostomy tube. I finally decide to call my medical equipment company's headquarters and speak directly with the person in charge of obtaining the physician orders. When I call, I am transferred to a woman named Desiree. She is incredibly sweet. She tells me she is not the person working out my case. It is another worker, but her daughter had tested positive for COVID. Now the woman is at home with her daughter. Desiree tells me I am fortunate. She is working in the office. Desiree is able to get into our colleagues' files. She carefully reviews everything. She tells me they are waiting on my doctor to sign the orders. The woman then pauses and says, "Let me look at the paperwork." She tells me everything is filled out. The orders were generated correctly. She then says, "Oh, I do not see that the orders were ever faxed over to the doctor's office." My colleague was probably working on this when she found out her daughter had COVID. It looks as though she never faxed over the orders. I will work on this right away. I thank Desiree for her assistance and hang up the phone. I have learned from the past, doctors' offices misplace faxes. With this knowledge in mind, I decide to make an appointment with my doctor as a backup in case the paperwork is not submitted. When I call, I am grateful it will only be 10 days until I can get in to see the doctor. I impatiently wait and hope and pray the paperwork will be submitted during that 10-day time period. The day before my appointment, I contact my respiratory therapist and ask to be emailed a copy of the paperwork the doctor needs to sign. I have learned from the past, finding paperwork faxed to a doctor's office is a futile scavenger hunt. Before my appointment, I print off the paperwork and bring it with me. At my appointment, I tell my provider I need the paperwork signed. She immediately takes the document and gives it to the medical assistant. The necessary information is filled out. The paperwork is faxed to my medical equipment company. I am given a copy of the fax. With these precious documents in my hand, I am so relieved. I nearly start dancing. But before I start celebrating too much, I take photos of the signed paperwork and email the photos to my respiratory therapist. This is an extra safeguard to ensure if the fax from my doctor's office was not received, the medical equipment company would have another copy of the signed documents. I believe my new tracheostomy tube should soon be on its way to my home. The next week, I receive a notification from my respiratory therapist. The medical equipment company received the signed paperwork. But now, I'm informed the company needs a copy of the clinical notes from my appointment. I cannot get my new tracheostomy tube until the clinical notes are received. I sigh and make another appointment with my doctor. This time, praise God, it is only a week until my next appointment. I wait and wait for my next appointment. I am in contact with my respiratory therapist in the meantime and inquire about the clinical notes. I am informed they have not been received. During my appointment with my provider, I politely ask for my clinical notes from the previous week to be sent over to my medical equipment company. I am surprised. The provider remarks, "Oh, you are still waiting for your medical equipment? We will send those notes over right away." I contact my respiratory therapist again. I am informed the warehouse where my tracheostomy tube is located has been closed down due to winter storms. She is not sure when it will reopen, but as long as it is closed, my tracheostomy tube will not be sent out. This week, I received an email from UPS stating a package was coming my way. I rejoiced when I saw the sender was my medical equipment company. Later in the week, the package was delivered to my door. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you my brand new tracheostomy tube. Yes, it is finally here. I am thrilled. I am excited. And now I get to do this whole process all over again in 3 months. I can hardly wait. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe down below. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye.